If you are interested in mastering the art of videography, from shooting cinematic videos with any type of a camera to editing and color grading those videos professionally, and how to make money in videography, I have a series of online filmmaking courses that will easily take you throughout the whole process of learning videography from beginning to the end, practically step by step. Starting with the DSLR cinematic filmmaking, where I teach how to choose and understand your cameras, how to put in the correct settings, lenses and how they affect your image, how to create great compositions, camera movements and camera angles, lighting techniques, both natural lighting and artificial lighting, and understanding how to record clean audio. Then we come to Video Editing Pro Max, where I teach how to edit videos in Adobe Premiere Pro, from how to install Adobe Premiere Pro and the computer requirements, all the way to exporting your finished video and everything in between, like how to add effects to your videos, how to add transitions and presets, how to mix, master and clean audio, and just a lot more. Then we move on to Color Grading Pro Max, where I teach the whole entire process of color grading your videos in Adobe Premiere Pro, from understanding picture styles, how to use lumetri scopes, how to use LUTs, and showing you tips, tricks and techniques that can make your color grading very easy. Then Music Video Ultra, where I teach how to create cinematic music videos, from all the equipment that you will need for music videos, camera settings, how to direct, how to come up with a treatment and scripts for music videos, all the way to editing music videos and color grade them. And those who want to pursue wedding videography, don't worry, I've got you covered in Wedding Video Ultra, where I teach how to shoot cinematic wedding videos, from the equipment that you're gonna need, camera settings, how and what to shoot during a wedding ceremony, how to edit wedding videos, and how to deliver those wedding videos to clients. And after acquiring all this skill, how do you make money from it? That is where Videography Business Course comes in, where I teach how to turn your videography skills into money, from how to get started in videography even if you don't have any equipment, how to market yourself as a videographer, how to get clients, how to charge for your videos, and over 10 videography side hustles that you can do to generate extra income. While all the courses are online, you can also download them to your computer or your mobile phone and learn at your own time and at your own pace. And you can reach out to me anytime you have a question or need further explanations. I have included all the softwares, plugins, transitions, presets, and over 3,000 LUTs that you can download for free. And since these are practical online classes, I have also included exercises, assignments, and footage for you to practice on, as well as e-learning certificate of completion at the end of the courses. You can get and learn all this from my website ufc.unifyinventive.net for only $86. Here are the payment options and my WhatsApp contact number for more details. I hope to see you in the class. Hello, good evening, and welcome to today's live. Welcome everybody. Today we are good. So it means our usual business today is going to continue without any distraction. Thank you very much for everybody who is joining. Today we're going to be discussing about the initial startup gear. All right, what cameras you need, what other additional gear do you need apart from a camera and the computer? And I'm going to be showing you and explaining to you each and every gear that you need and what you should consider before getting that gear, and probably maybe the budget. How much budget are you looking at in order for you to start your videography career, whether it is YouTube, social media like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, or whether you want to start creating videos for clients and stuff of that nature. That's what we're going to be discussing today. So let me just greet, let me know where you're watching me from, as well as help me to share the video on your timeline. If you are a filmmaker, it means there are also other people on your timeline that are also interested in filmmaking. All right, so if you share the video, you're also going to give them an opportunity to see what you are seeing and to learn from what you are learning. All right, thank you so much for everybody who is joining. Thank you so much for everybody who is joining. I can see Painlock connected from Kimberly. Thank you so much, Painlock. How are you, sir? I'm doing great. And how are you? Thank you so much. Location. Right now, I'm in Potchefstroom. That's where I'm doing this live stream from. Thank you very much. Litabile is watching. All I'm asking for is a gimbal. If you get my videography business course, I don't think you'll be asking for any equipment because you'll be able to get the equipment yourself. I teach how you can get some of this stuff when you are starting. All right, thank you very much. Tsepo is watching from Northwest South Africa. Thank you so much, Tsepo. Let's share the stream. Zambia Kuchalo, thank you so much, Mr. Bwalia Chanda. Malawi Blantyre, thank you so much, Mr. Elisha. Thank you very much. All right, today the main topic is the startup gear and what budget you're looking at. All right, what are the really cheapest gear, really good equipment that you can use to make good videos? All right, so let's share the stream. Let's share the stream so that we are many. You can see many people watching. Mr. Beston also just tuned in. Thanks for being there for us. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Mr. Beston. I can see Mike also is watching from Blantyre. Thank you very much. I just want to greet, and if you have any questions with regards to today's topic, you are free to ask those questions. Otherwise, I'm going to walk you through and show you some of the stuff that you need when you are starting, and most of them really cheap, mostly really cheap. All right, thank you very much for everybody who is tuning in. Let's share the stream. Let's share the stream so that we can have a lot of people catching us live. And if you have any question, just let me know in the comment section. Today we are talking about all the gear that you will need when you are starting your videography business or videography career. All right. Unity is watching. Unity SA from South Africa, Pretoria. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you very much. Evening Leadership watching from Soshanguve. Thank you so much, Pretoria South, right? Yeah, Soshanguve is that side. Thank you so much for joining in, Mr. MJ Sitole. Thank you so much. Do you do face-to-face classes or it's just online? At the moment, I only do online classes that you can find at ufc.unifyinventive.net. However, those are practical online classes. In the classes, there is exercises and tasks that you have to complete. Very awesome class, very awesome class. People, feedback, awesome. Thank you very much. Finally, the topic I was waiting for, that is Mr. Jonathan. Thank you very much. Let us share the stream. Let us share the stream so that we can have many people joining us. CMZW says, boss. Thank you so much, Mr. CMZ. Thank you very much. Watching from Malawi, Dix V. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everybody who is watching. Let's share the video so that we can spread the news. Today, I'm really touching on a serious topic. You know, if you are watching this video today and you're a beginner videographer, or maybe you started your videography, you might learn one or two things in today's topic. Thank you very much. Watching from Zimbabwe, thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you so much, Rachel T. Thank you very much. All right. Enough of the greetings. If you have any questions, just ask in the comment section below. So what I wanted to share with you today is on the startup gear, because this is a question that my student asked me a lot. And even just random people, you know, not really my student, but just random people, they ask me, so how much do I need? You know, another person actually sent me a message 2 days back asking, can you send me a quotation of the equipment that I'll need? All right, so it is a topic that people don't really understand, because even myself, as old as I am in the game, like I've been doing videography for the past close to 16 years. If today I was about to make a camera purchase or any type of a gear, it's not something that I can just really ask from somewhere, or maybe I saw someone using that sort of a gear and then I just, oh, let me purchase it. It takes me close to a week or a month just going through YouTube videos, going through tutorials, you know, just understanding it. And this is one thing that I've seen with most videographers. They are lazy. Most videographers are lazy. Someone can have a camera, but they still don't know the settings. They still don't know where to find the aperture. They still don't know where to find the ISO, but they've been with the camera. Just that time to go through the camera and study it, study its strengths and its weaknesses, to study all those things, it's usually a problem. That's why today I'm just going to share more light. So in general, if you were starting today, the first, as a videographer or as a filmmaker, the first gear that you would need to consider is, of course, the camera, right? The camera body. So The camera, it has got a few things. You know, in my course, DSLR Cinematic Filmmaking, I have discussed a number, almost 10 things that you need to consider before purchasing a camera. So a camera that you need for your videography career is not really something that someone can just tell you to say, go and buy this kind of a camera. All right, it is something that comes with a lot of consideration. Number one, what you are intending to film. Number two, what are the strengths and weaknesses of that camera? And one of the things that you really need to understand a lot when you are getting a camera, let's talk about the camera body first. Let me remove this lens first. Right. Let's talk about the camera body. One thing that you need to understand on the camera body, number one, is the camera sensor itself. Right. Is it a full frame? Is it an APS-C sensor, or is it a micro four third, or is it a 1-inch sensor? A sensor plays a crucial part in videography. The sensor of the camera is one of the most important hardware of a camera. So if you don't even know what an APS-C sensor is or a full frame sensor is, it means you already have some sort of a problem. You know, mostly videographers, especially upcoming videographers, start their career like without any sort of knowledge about this thing. So for me, if I'm picking a camera for what I want to do, I'm going to give you examples with cameras that you need to pick, but I just really want to get this one out of the way first, right? So for me, if I am going to pick a camera, first thing that I need to look at is what kind of videography genre I'll be doing the most. Am I going to be doing mostly wedding videos? Because you can't also get into videography and really do it. Excuse me. You can't just really get into videography and really target to do everything at once. Even though myself, I do everything, right? Like I shoot almost all type of videography genre, including movies actually. I have specific gear for specific videography genre. That doesn't mean also you cannot use the same camera for everything. But there's always, like when I was starting, I really wanted to start with music videos because I wanted to take advantage of upcoming artists. I wanted to start making money quickly. So the camera that I got at that time, it had to do with music videography. What are the things that favor music videography in a camera? Number one, I was looking at the video texture of a camera. You know, so of course, nowadays, DSLR cameras, like these photo cameras, they're the ones that are popular. So I was looking at a DSLR camera that has got a good video texture, not really like a DSLR look. You know, most of the videos on DSLR cameras, they just really look like motion pictures, you know, because of the texture of the video. So one of the things that I looked at when I was starting in music videography, I was looking at a camera that it gives me that video look. Each and every camera has got its look, you know. So I was looking at all those cameras like Canon cameras, Sony cameras, Nikon cameras. I was looking at Lumix cameras. I was looking at Olympus cameras. I was looking at what other brand of this camera? Nikon cameras. All those cameras, I was looking at them. Blackmagic, I mean. Blackmagic camera. I was looking at them. And I went through the YouTube trying to figure out which one will give me the video texture that I want. Like the style of filming that I want. The style of how I want my videos to look like, you know. So I had to spend a lot of time, do such researches and stuff like that. Sadly, the money, the budget that I had at that time could only allow me to buy a Canon 70D. In fact, I chose the Canon 70D because it had really like nice autofocus, you know. It was an all-round camera. It was shooting, Canon 77D. It was shooting at 60 frames per second in full HD. So it was really like an all-round camera. It had got really nice color science. But after using it for some time, I realized, I don't really like this DSLR video-ish kind of a look. You know, I need to look for something that has got a video texture. Right, so that's how I landed with the Blackmagic 4K, Blackmagic Production Cinema Camera 4K, and it was awesome. The only problem is it was taking so much space, and it was really like this big thing, you know. You needed to rig it in a way, and it was just really a hassle to use it. So I did another research and I landed on the Lumix GH4, and I have been always with the Lumix GH4, the Lumix GH5, the Lumix GH5S, the Lumix GH5 Mark II, right? But mostly I just really use the Lumix GH5. Why? Because it caters to what I do mostly, all right? My style of videography is movement, and the Lumix GH5 has got the best in-body camera stabilization. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a professional filmmaker. Things like autofocus for myself don't really matter. Things like low light condition is a problem. Look, I have a lot of light. So those kind of stuff doesn't really matter. What matters is really the camera specs for myself. So things that work for me might not really work for you. All right. So when somebody reaches out to me to say, what kind of camera should I buy? That thing is a little bit subjective. You have to understand what you really want to film. You want to really understand how your videos really, you want your videos to come out. You want to understand a few things like the sensor of the camera. Very important. You just don't really go and buy a sensor, because after you buy that camera, whatever sensor it's there inside, it will also affect what kind of lenses you need to get. Right. So this one is a micro four third camera. So when I add this speed booster, it becomes more like a 35mm, you know, somewhere between APS-C size and full frame, right? And then for me it works, but maybe for you it might not work. So if I have a micro four third camera like this, the second thing that you need to consider is, of course, the lenses that you use on your camera. So my all-time favorite lenses is the Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8. I'll put it there. f1.8. So this is the rig that I almost take with me for my personal videos and sometimes for some artists, you know. And mostly clients, let's say upcoming videographers, actually want to get everything at once. You know, like they want to get the camera, want to get everything. It's not always the case. At the moment, I'm able to get any camera that I want, but sometimes it's not really necessary. You know, if someone today approached me, like last month, I was filming a movie, and I was filming that movie mostly on the Sony FX6. Now, it's a cinema camera, it's good, you know, and all that. And I had to hire that camera. Why? Because I'm not shooting movies every day. So there's no need for me to buy that kind of a camera and stay with it, right? So after you get the camera, the next thing is the lens. The lens that you put on your camera, very important. In fact, according to me, the lens is more important than the camera body itself. So the lens is another hardware of a camera that brings light into the camera, right? So the light enters the lens and hits the sensor. So the lens that you put on your camera, it will determine the viewing angle that you have. Also, it will determine also how your image is basically going to come out. So I use fast lenses, like lenses with lower aperture. You know, aperture is the opening and the closing of the iris in the lens. So the wider it opens, the lower the number. So if you find a lens like this one is f1.8, it means it lets in more light, unlike another lens that has got f4 or f5.6. You get my point. So whenever you are getting a lens for your camera, make sure you look at the f-stop number. Those things are very important. So with me, with this lens, adding this speed booster, that is it actually comes to f1.2, which is really wide enough. It lets in more light in the camera, creating this nice bokeh background, nice blur background, making my videos look cinematic. So most of people say, Ish, my videos don't really look that cinematic. Everything seems to be in focus. It's because you are using slow lenses that have got like f5.6 or f4 or f3.5, right? So it depends. If you are gonna take the f3.5 lens and put it on a micro four third camera, you wouldn't really get that shallow depth of field in your videos. But if you put that same lens on a camera that is a full frame camera, you get like a decent shallow depth of field. That's why the sensor of the camera is very important. So in order for you to really like make a solid decision, you need to look at what you're going to be using that camera for, and then you need to have some knowledge about cameras. Don't just really buy because you saw, oh, that is what Mr. Wise is using, or that is what my friend is using. You actually really need to learn a few things like f-stop, focal ranges, crop factors. You need to learn those things so that you actually understand your tools. All right? Don't work against your tools. I've seen people, they really got really this nice camera, and I'll be like, no, this camera is a small camera, blah, blah, blah. I can't use it because they think, like I always say, it's not a camera that makes a video, it's the person that makes a video. So don't work against your gear, work with it. Work with what you have. If you have some skill, trust me, you can take advantage of any camera. Any camera. All right, so those are the few things that you need to consider. So if you, today I was starting as a music videographer, I'll look at cameras like the Lumix cameras, the Lumix GH4 as my go-to startup camera. It is very cheap. Nowadays, you can find a second-hand GH4 maybe for $600, 10,000 rands, 15,000 rands. You can get a Lumix GH4. It shoots beautiful 4K, not just really 4K, but 4K DCI. You know, true 4K, 4096 by 2160 resolution. And then I'll look at cameras like Olympus. I'll look at cameras like Fuji, nice video texture. Then Canon, then Sony cameras, and then I'll end up with Canon cameras. Right. So when you are trying to buy cameras, another factor that can really determine how much, what kind of a camera you're gonna get is the price, your budget. So let's say you have a budget of 15,000, you want to get a camera today, an all-round camera. I would advise you get a second-hand camera. Of all the cameras that I have, most of them I got them second-hand, most of them, right? As long as it still works perfect, it's not really a train smash because cameras, they change. There's always a newer camera that is gonna come. The only thing that I make sure I buy quality is the lenses, because this lens, I have been with this lens since 2017, right? Since 2017, when it almost came out. So with the camera bodies, it's not really something that I worry about, because even the movie that I was shooting on the Sony FX6, I was using this lens with an adapter. I was still using the lens. So you can always change the lenses and use on a different camera bodies with adapters and speed boosters. But with a camera, I would really advise, if you are starting out, get a second-hand camera if you don't have that much of a budget. So your budget also will determine what kind of a camera you get. So when a person asks me to say, how much is a good camera? That is a common question that I get. That to me, it's stressful. It's a stressful question because, number one, I have to know the budget. I have to know what they're going to be using to film that, to use that camera for. I have to know exactly how much they understand about videography and cameras in general. So it's a tricky question. You can't really just ask, how much is the camera? How much is the good camera? You know, because even a $300, a $200 camera in the hands of a professional is still a good camera. Any camera that you think it is not good enough, I can challenge you right now, go on YouTube and type that camera and say sample videos, for example, Canon 60D. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked at how people can really make super high quality videos with the camera that you think it's not okay. The problem is, as filmmakers, we actually really tend to be very lazy. Lazy, like we don't want to have time with our gear, do the research, or learn some of this stuff. You know, there's no way that you can buy a camera. You don't even know what shutter speed does. You don't even know camera sensors. Then you are busy looking to buy a camera. The first thing that you are supposed to do is to study those things, understand them, then you actually get a camera that will help you. All right, so after you get a camera and some lens, and when it comes to lenses, some of the lenses that you need to get, you need to understand also focal range, right? You need to understand what is a medium lens, what is a wide lens, what is a telephoto lens, what is a portrait lens. You need to understand all those kind of stuff. You don't just really get one lens and then you use it for everything. You know, I use the Sigma 18-35 mostly, not all the time, but mostly because it gives me a focal range of between 35 millimeter, which is slightly wide but not too wide, to 70 millimeter, which is almost like portrait. So I can shoot people's faces as long as I can shoot wide angles, right, on the same lens. But if you are using a full frame camera, this lens might become too wide, you know. This lens might become too wide. In fact, this is not even, this is an APS-C lens. So you cannot really even use it on full frame camera. So that is another thing that you need to understand. You know, not all the lenses will work on each and every camera body. So if you understand what crop factor your camera, your sensor in the camera is, you'll be able to actually select the good, perfect fit of a lens. All right, so with the Sigma 18-35 millimeter, it's an APS-C sensor lens. So you can't really use it on a camera without introducing this vignette around your frame. You get my point. So that is what you need to understand with regards to lenses and stuff like that. All right, which lens do you usually use? I have already gone through this. Let me just look at your questions a little bit. Can you advise us about the best and affordable lens for GH5? The best and affordable lens for GH5 is the native lens 12-60 millimeter f2.8, right? It is a really good lens because it goes from all the way wide to telephoto, and it's a little bit faster, even though it has got a variable. The f-stop is from 2.8 to 4. Mostly, if you are shooting on the Lumix GH5, you have that lens as 24 to 120 millimeter. So 24 millimeter is still really like wide. You can shoot even a real estate video. In fact, that's the lens that I was using to shoot real estate videos when I was starting. All right, so the cheapest that you can get is the 12-60 millimeter f2.8 to f4. Okay, love this lesson, watching from Botswana. That is Leti. Thank you so much, Leti. Yes, learn more about it. Learning, I have Mark II 5D. Do you think I can come in the industry? That's a really beautiful camera. 5D Mark II is the camera that revolutionized videography on a budget. You know, when that camera came out, oh my God, 15 years ago, when that camera came out, it was the DSLR camera that actually made videography affordable to many people, and many professionals, including movies, they used that camera. So I wouldn't really want to say much. Just go on YouTube and search video shot on the 5D Mark II. You see that it's a really good camera, so I still recommend it. I'm watching from Zambia. Tony, thank you so much, Mr. Tony. Thank you so much. How many of each equipment is needed in general for shooting, whether wedding, YouTube, or Facebook? Right, so we just started with the camera and the lenses. I'm still going to show you so many stuff. Okay. And then after carefully selecting the camera, if you want to learn more about cameras, how the lenses operate, what kind of lenses you need to get, what kind of crop factors, what to consider before purchasing a camera, and the budget cameras that you can get, you should just get my course. I explain all those things step by step in the way that you should understand them. So my course is not really something that is something that I thought about, you know, in mind with the questions that people usually ask me on a daily basis. It's not something that I just really created out of nowhere. Almost all these questions that you are asking, most of them, they are already answered in that course. All right, so after you're getting a camera and a lens, right? Let me just give you some examples of the cameras that you can get. So if I was into, let's say, wedding videography, I have to understand what favors wedding videography. You know, mostly wedding videography, you need a camera that is good in autofocus, because in weddings, when you are shooting a wedding, actions don't repeat. If they are kissing and your camera was out of focus, there is no retake. You can't go there and say, hey, kiss again, my camera was out of focus. So you need to get a camera that has got really like good autofocus. You need to get a camera that is good in low light, because most wedding videos don't really hire a gaffer or a lighting technician, or or someone to come and do lighting. They just really put decorative lighting that just really come as practical lighting. So make sure you get a camera that has got good low light performance. Otherwise you'll be forced to be moving with a lot of big lights. And in weddings, people, they dance a lot, especially when I'm shooting weddings. There's a time that I set up my lighting and then people were dancing and someone kicked the light and it went off, at a really good dance. So you want to really maximize on a camera that has got good low light. That is just weddings. And then you need to get a camera that has got good color science, because wedding is more like a natural memory. You don't really want to color grade it and make it like a movie. You want everything to look as good as they appear in real life. So getting a camera that has got a good color science will favor wedding videography. So after you put all those requirements, you need to understand also like the genres of videographies that you want to get into, or what you're going to be filming. So like I was explaining about wedding videography, that's how you also attend to each and every other genre of videography. So you have to actually really know, okay, what favors wedding videography, what kind of gear do I need, before you even reach that point where you're selecting a camera. So having that in mind, you start to search now. What cameras are best in low lights? What cameras are best in autofocus? What cameras are best in color science? It's easy. Google has got everything, YouTube has got everything, but it will not have everything if you don't know beforehand. That is the tricky part. YouTube is helpful, yes, but it's helpful when you know in part. So now if you know what kind of camera you want, even searching on YouTube is easier. Okay, what cameras have got good color science? At the moment, among these cheap DSLR cameras, Canon has got the best color science. It has got the best autofocus. It has got best color science and best autofocus, and slightly good in low light in most cases. But Sony, it is also powerful in low light. Sony cameras is really powerful in low light. It has got good color science and good autofocus, but not as good as Canon cameras. So which one should I pick? I would really go for a camera like a Sony camera. Let's say a Sony A6300, Sony A6400, Sony A7S III, and stuff like that. And then you have also to know the resolution of the camera, how you want to deliver your video. So if I'm starting videography today for weddings, I wouldn't really get a camera that is HD, even though there isn't anything wrong with it, but I'll just really want to shoot in 4K. So at least get cameras that have got a 4K capability in 2023. You can still use your HD cameras, still fine. But for future proof, because 4K is becoming popular these days, in 2 years, 3 years from now, everybody will just really be watching their videos in 4K. So you want to sort of like future proof your content or your footage, right? So I would get such type of a camera. And if I was starting music videos, music videos are sort of like in general. Music videos don't really have certain limitations in terms of which camera you use, because music videos you can do takes and redo those takes. You can set up lighting. You have time to redo, and so it doesn't really matter what kind of a camera you need. What matters is the requirements of that video. The platform where you're gonna publish, the distribution. Are you gonna distribute that music video on TV? So what are the requirements that they need on that TV? So you are working with the requirements that you need. Or if it's something that is just gonna really end up on YouTube only, it has got no future plans of going on big screens and stuff like that, then all those things, they also help you to determine what kind of camera you will need. It also, the same goes for corporate videos, it goes for events videos. Events videos are kind of like wedding videos. Something happens and it doesn't really repeat. And the good part with events videos, there's always like good lighting, decorative lighting and stuff like that. So you might really just need a camera that has got good autofocus and probably good lighting, because most events actually happen at night. The ones that I've done, there are others that happen during the day, but whether they happen during the day or at night events, if there's maybe an artist who is coming to perform, there's usually some sort of lighting, some lighting technician who does the lighting of the venue and stuff like that. So those are a few things that you really need to consider when you are choosing a camera. So camera is just one thing. The next thing that you need as a person who is starting a videography business is some form of stabilization, right? So there's a lot of stabilization, camera stabilization out there, but I'm just gonna talk about the three that you can consider. The first one is a tripod, right? So a tripod, of course, you know what it does. It helps to stabilize your camera. So don't just really get a camera and just continue shooting handheld. Just consider to get a stabilization tool like a tripod, you know? Even though it is almost for static shots, you can still do like pans, you know, you can still do like tilts and stuff like that, introducing some level of movement in your videos and having that stability in your videos. So it's either you get a good camera that has got a good stabilization system, that's why I use the Lumix GH5, or you get a camera that doesn't really have stabilization system in it, so it means shooting handheld it will be shaky. So you get something like a tripod that you use to stabilize your footage. So why I'm saying you can start to look at the tripod, because tripod, they have many cheaper options, many. Like you can even get a tripod for $10. A tripod for $10. You can get a tripod for $20, $30, you know. They have a variety of cheaper options. So the one that I use myself mostly when I'm traveling, it is this one. It's called GPB. It looks very small, but it's very heavy. It's made out of metal. It's very strong. So you get a tripod that can support the weight of your camera. All right. So with this one, I'm always good. Another form of stabilization that you can look at is a glide cam. All right. So this one actually stabilizes your footage. Like it's a good camera stabilizer. In fact, of all the stabilization systems that are there, a glide cam is my favorite, you know. As a person who likes really to take control of the production itself, the camera movement, a glide cam is very easy because it's more like an extension of your natural arm. So you can make quick turns on the go, unlike the one that I'm going to talk about now, which is motorized. So with the glide cam, you are the one who actually controls it, you know. Let me just remove that. Great. You are the one who actually really controls where the camera should go, and it actually really stabilizes your camera. So you can get smooth shots, especially whatever that if you're going to be doing things like weddings, music videos, events, you want to introduce this sort of smooth cinematic movement shots and stuff like that. A glide cam will come in handy. And even glide cams also, why I'm saying glide cam is because they have many cheaper options as well. Just like the tripod, you can actually really get a glide cam for $24, you know, just less than 500 rands. Now, if you go on Facebook Market and search for glide cam, you get it very cheap, especially if you're going to get them secondhand. The only drawback with a glide cam is it has got a longer learning curve. You know, learning how to use a glide cam effectively is like learning how to ride a bicycle. You know, you just really can't learn today and tomorrow you are able to ride a bicycle. Never. So you have to, it uses the weight. You see, it uses these weights to stabilize your camera. right? So it has got this longer learning curve, and the shots aren't really that smooth. Unless you are really professional. Like myself, you will not even believe all my videos when I was beginning, I was filming on this guy, this Glidecam HD1000. All right. So you also want to get a Glidecam that can support the weight of your camera. This one is a type of a stabilizer that uses weight to support, to balance, to counter, what you call this word again, to counteract your movement. So it is something that you need to consider if you don't have much budget. But if you are a complete beginner and you feel like a Glidecam is going to take you so much time to learn, then that's where these guys are coming in now. The Ronin S, there's a Feutech, there's a Zhuin, there's a Weibo. All these, they use motors to stabilize your footage. So the only thing that you do is to set your camera, balance it, and all the stabilization is going to be done using the motors in the gimbal itself. So it's easier because it does almost all the work for you. All right, so this will be the first option because they have a lot of cheaper options. These days, you can even get these Ronins for something like 7,000, for something like 6,000 second-hand, still working great. So that's why I said at least get a Glidecam, at least get gears on the second hand. You're going to get really good deals. So a Ronin is really amazing. It's really amazing. I don't really like it, especially this version. I don't really like it that much because it becomes heavy. Whenever I'm filming, I usually hook like a monitor, a camera, follow focus. So that's why you even see I have a handle here so that when I'm tired, I can use two hands. These ones, I had to buy them separately. Of course, this is a small rig. You can get this small rig for your Ronin S, Ronin SC. There's always these accessories that you can add, or you can actually get really the bracket, the frame that has got two handles and use your Ronin like that. So this is what you can also consider to stabilize your footage. It actually really makes your videos look professional, and also you as a videographer. You know, when you show up with a nice camera, with a Ronin, you know, even the clients begin to, you know, have confidence in you. So the other form of stabilizer is the Ronin S. That one is the Ronin MX. So there's a Ronin M, there's a Ronin MX, there's a Ronin. I have 3 types of Ronins just like that, and that one is my favorite, right? Because already it comes with 2 handles. I can hook a monitor, sound, and I can shoot a little bit for longer hours without really getting tired. All right, so those are some of the stabilizers that you need to get for your cameras. Let's see if you have any question. What kind of camera are you using? I want to advise our church to buy that for live streaming. The one that I'm using at the moment, if you are going to do church, oh, I've forgotten people in the church, man. God is going to punish me. All right, so if you are selecting a camera for church, I would consider cameras like the Lumix FZ1000 Mark II. Let me see if I can show it here. All right, this, where is that thing? This is the Lumix FZ Mark II. The reason why I love this camera, it has got this like long zoom, right? It zooms from 25 millimeter all the way to, I don't know how, 400. Yeah, 25 millimeter all the way to 400. And this can be very helpful if you are shooting church programs. And the good part is it shoots in 4K. Though it has got 1-inch sensor, it shoots videos in 4K. And it also shoots really nice pictures, by the way. Really nice pictures. So if you're going to do church programs, live streaming in the church, this is the camera that I recommend. This is the cameras that I've been supplying to most men of God that have been asking for church cameras. Which camera should I use? The Lumix FZ
1000 Mark II is the best long zoom lens. So try to look out for that camera. Really good, really good. And then for people who say, oh man, I want to get a good camera, I want to start making. And then for people who say, I want a good camera, you know, I want to start making really good YouTube videos and vlogs, cameras for vlogging, you can get a camera like, you can get the camera like this one, the EOS Canon R50, really small camera, good color science, everything really lightweight, it's very compact, and you can use this camera for vlogging, you know, and the quality of these cameras, oh my God, very beautiful camera. So you can get a camera like this if you are really trying to build a YouTube channel and you want like really good image. It has got like the best autofocus on point. Everything about this camera really on point. So you can consider getting that one. Or there's another camera that you could get that I love so much. This little guy over here. This one is the FZ, what you call Sony. It's a Sony. It has got interchangeable lenses. It's a Sony ZV-E10. Very lightweight camera. You can use this camera for vlogging. You can use this camera for your YouTube. You have no idea. So if you really want to start making content, and these cameras, by the way, they're very cheap. You know, if you get a second-hand camera, you really get them very cheap because they are small. They are actually really made for. They are actually really made for content creation. So if you are into content creation, you are into YouTube, you are into vlogging, at least consider the Sony ZV-E10 or the Canon R50 or M50. Those lightweight camera, very good. They've got really best autofocus. Even the features, these cameras were actually really created for people like that, for content creation. All right. All right, then we have another camera here. This one is the Lumix G80. Very beautiful camera, shoots 4K videos, very lightweight. You can use this camera for music videos, by the way. You can use this camera. It has got also the in-body image stabilization, 5-axis, just like the same technology in the Lumix GH5, the battery life. So you can see, you just really have to know your story. You have to know exactly where you're going to be filming and what you're going to be using the camera for. I love gimbal. Wow, thank you so much. That is Caroline. How good is Canon 70D on videos? That is something that has to do with your skill. All right. So a camera, let me just put it this way. If your skill is still really starting out, then you have to spend a lot of money in camera gear. You know, otherwise you're really going to create bad videos. But if you actually really start to harness your skills and you know a few things before you even reach these levels of camera, and your skills are really solid, they are above average, camera will never be your problem. So if you're asking me now to say how good is the Canon 70D, how good in what perspective, in what genre of videography, is it a skilled person is going to use it, or is just really a beginner? Because that camera is awesome. I shot a whole movie on the Canon 70D in 2016, and that movie won 2 awards at Ekurhuleni Film Festival: best trailer and best story, best trailer video, and best editing. I shot everything on the Canon 70D. So it depends on the skill that you have, because let me just show you something. Let me just show you something really quick. Where is that video? All right, so you see this video on your screen. This was the Apple event that just happened like 2 weeks ago. And you will not believe that everything that you are seeing here, it was shot on an iPhone. Everything that you are seeing here, it was shot with a smartphone. So you can see it is just really how good you are at using certain cameras. So you see all these people that you are seeing in this video, everything, all this whole presentation. Let me show you something. All these people that you are seeing here, this is an iPhone. All these pictures, this is an iPhone that shot this video. Okay? So you can see Tim Cook here doing a presentation. All this picture was shot on an iPhone. iPhone, not even like a big camera. And this is a $1 trillion camera. A $1 trillion company, but they are using a smartphone to shoot their event, right? I wish I could show you some of the behind the scene of that event. Where is the behind the scene of that event? Let me show you something. I don't know why it's failing to play, but I'm gonna get it right. Here is the behind the scenes of the same Apple event that was being shot on the smartphone. This is the smartphone that was being shot. You can see the whole event was shot on that smartphone, on iPhone. Though they have really like these big rigs and stuff like that, but everything was shot with an iPhone. So you can see it's not really like the camera and stuff like that. It's just really the skills that you have. And that's one thing that I see. Most videographers actually are lazy. You know, I have created an awesome online class that teaches you everything that you need to know about cameras. You know, what are the exposure settings you need? All those things. They look like, man, this is basic and they're wasting time, but they count a lot. They really count a lot. So when it comes to camera, with regards to which camera you should buy, at least you should just really measure how much you know about videography. You know, and there's no better way to use my school as a point where you can actually really measure how good you have gone. If you don't really trust yourself, just get my course. It goes through everything. I have gone through all the most important stuff that a beginner videographer, even professional videographer must know. You know, explaining all these things step by step. Thanks for the lesson you are giving us. Thank you so much, Mr. J. We have any questions? Hi, I just joined. We had load shedding. Thank you, Mr. Excellence. It's great. And all right, how good is Canon EOS R side by side with GH5 for wedding? I think I've explained that. What's the little screen you put on top of the camera to see the view? And what's the advantage of using it? I need it. All right, so most cameras, most DSLR cameras, you can see they always have like a little screen. But this screen is just too small. You know, sometimes you might actually think that your image is in focus because the screen is small. But when you reveal it in the computer, you see that you are slightly out of focus. So mostly I use an external monitor because it has got a slightly bigger screen. So I put it on top like that so that I can see things better, you know. So the external monitor helps you to, it has got extra professional features like focus peaking, you know, zebra lines, you know, vector scopes, you know, what other, yeah, vector scope. It has got also what you call waveform to just really monitor your exposure correctly, scientifically, because sometimes you can look at the screen and think, oh, this image is good. But if you use a waveform, that is the one that can really tell whether you are in focus or not. All right. So that is the use of an external monitor. And just having really an external monitor on your camera, it just really makes your game look serious, you know. It just builds this sort of trust in your client. If you have any questions, just ask. But most external monitors are expensive. Like the cheapest one that you can get is 3,500, 4,000. I got this one for 12,000 because the time that I got it, I was also using it to record external because this is an external recorder. But let me just show you a cool trick. Let me just show you a cool trick. All right. I think I'm going to make a tutorial about this at some point. So you can actually use your smartphone as a monitor, right? You can actually use your smartphone as a monitor. So you can see the smartphone has got a slightly bigger screen than your monitor. So if you don't have a monitor yet, you can actually use your smartphone. So how you use it is you get an adapter. This one, it's Type-C to normal USB. You put it there, like so. And then you get a capture card, right? This video capture card, I think you can get this one for 190 Rand or 200 Rand. Then you connect in that USB, like so. Like so. Then this USB has got an HDMI output. So you get this HDMI output. You can even see now it's asking me to connect to the external monitor. So you get this HDMI and then attach it to your camera. And then your camera becomes, you get this HDMI, you attach it to your camera. And then your camera, your phone becomes like a normal external monitor. So there's just an app that you need to download that actually even enables you, instead of recording with your camera, you can just re-record straight in your phone if it has got a lot of memory. So most of the time, because this phone, the Samsung S22 Ultra, it is bright, very bright. You can use it even in sunlight. Mostly nowadays, I just use this phone. So what you can do as well is to get something like, just give me, is to get something like a phone clamp, right? You can get a phone clamp where you can clamp your phone and get something like this stuff that holds on top of the camera, like so. So you can see this stuff, there's no way that you can know it on your own. That's why you need a mentor in this stuff. You just need someone who can show you, who can just show you certain things, you see? So instead of you spending money to buy a monitor now, you can just keep that money and buy a lens and just use this cool trick. So it goes in like that, and then you can hook it on your camera like so. It makes you look professional, you know, and it is actually really helpful. So that is all about the monitors and stuff like that. So the other cool trick, the other things, so I've talked about camera, I've talked about the lenses, I've talked about stabilizers. Now, let's go to another item that you're really gonna need for live streaming. Not for live streaming, for your videography, which is lighting. Okay, so with me, I use these lights, even though they are slightly expensive. These are 300 watts. They're the ones that I'm using in the studio. I've just gotten in soft boxes there to just sort of soften everything well. But these lights are ridiculously very bright. You can't even look at it. Just one light, it can light up the whole room like crazy. The good part is you can actually dim them up and stuff like that. So you need to have some form of lighting. Lighting is one thing that you really need to invest, and it's also one thing that you really need to understand a little bit, even just the basics alone. You know, lighting is very important. It's the reason why we see things. So with regards to how a camera works, light enters through the lens and it hits the sensor, and that same light, the sensor, it's a camera hardware that converts that light into an image that we are able to see. So when it comes to lighting, very important. So you need to know how to use artificial lighting, like in the studio setup like this. You need to know what is a key light, what is a fill light. You need to know what is a backlight. You need to know what is practical lighting, you need to know all those kind of stuff. You need to know some ways, creative ways of using light. You know, there's a lot of lighting techniques. There's butterfly lighting, there's Rembrandt lighting. Right now, if I can switch off this light, you can see the one that is here now is just a key light. It's just a few light, right? So this was like my key light. Okay, if I can switch off this light, which is over here, this side, I just want to show you something. Okay, so that is my key light is gone. So the lighting technique that I'm using here is a Rembrandt lighting technique, where the key light creates like this triangle on my cheek, right? This triangle on my cheek. This is a popular Hollywood lighting technique. So you need also to know how to use, so you can see there's a lot of shadows here, creating this sort of dramatic sort of lighting. So in order for me to soften those shadows, I just put another light this side. So the shadows are still there, but not as much, creating really this good image. So you just really need to know a little bit about lighting. So in my course, DSLR Cinematic Filmmaking, I went also in details about lighting, how to create butterfly lighting, how to create split lighting, how to create Rembrandt lighting, three-point lighting, how to use one light, two lights, how to use natural lighting. You need to understand lighting. So at some point in your package, make sure you have some form of lighting, right? There's some lights that I just sent to Caroline today. I was going to show you the cheaper options. And lights, I've got a lot of cheaper options. Nowadays, Chinese, even these lights that I'm using now, they come from China. You know, Chinese have made a lot of soft lighting, a lot of LED lightings. So if you're going to start, actually, I'm going to really advise you get LED lighting, right? They are not really hot. They are bright. Most of them, they are bicolor and stuff like that. And you also need to understand a few things about lighting, you know. Each and every light source has got a color temperature, right? Right now, I'm using daylight, but I can change the color temperature of the lights and stuff like that. So you actually really need to understand some of this stuff. Let me just take it back. Right? You have to actually really understand some of those stuff, like the lighting that you are getting, the color temperatures that they have, you know. Those are the stuff that will even help you to, you know, select the correct white balance in your cameras and stuff like that. So all those kind of stuff, they are all explained in my course. And you can get that course for less than 500, less than. And you say, ah, no, it's a waste of money. That is the behavior of filmmakers. I know. The same things that can really improve, that course can just really take you like a week to finish everything, you know, because when it comes to video, it's not just really about all this equipment and stuff like that. There's another part. The equipment and everything that you need to use is just really half of the battle. The other part is the creative process, like good angles, good movements, like good storytelling, all those kind of stuff. I have highlighted some of those stuff in my course, DSLR Cinematic Filmmaking. All right. Wow, powerful. This is Mr. Ronald. I would like, if I can win a gimbal, just join my class. You might be lucky. I'm new on the channel. Which video should I start with watching on videography, watching from Zambia? I think you can just really go to my YouTube channel. You can go to my YouTube channel and just look at the topics of the videos that are there and see which ones you can start. Because if you really wanted to start, I wouldn't, if you are completely new to videography, I wouldn't advise you to just really like watch videos one-on-one. Just really find, like get my online class, which starts from all the way from the top until you are a professional. So that after getting that course, even when you go on YouTube or other sources, you will actually be able to know exactly what you are looking for. Thank you so much. Please make sure you also like the channel. What's the name of the application? The name of the application is called Smart Endoscope. Smart Endoscope. I'm gonna create a tutorial explaining everything, how you can use your smartphone as a monitor, just subscribe to my YouTube channel. Getting back to how many of each gear is needed. How many of each gear is needed, it also goes with how many of each and every project. Remember, it is special, right? So for me, anytime I'm going, even though I have like 12 camera bodies, like different 12 camera bodies, whenever I'm going for a shoot, I just pick a camera that will be suitable to shoot that project, right? And most of them, actually, they are just really like Lumix cameras. So you can actually really, it depends. If you are doing a dialogue sort of videography, let's say you are in church. I'll just give an example of a church. You have a main camera. If that is all you have, you can use that camera as a main camera. But maybe you might want to have a second angle of the church, of the audience. So one camera points at the pastor, one camera points at the audience, you know, and then you can add another camera. So you might, in that situation, maybe you might need a minimum of 2 cameras. Or maybe you are doing dialogue sort of interviews where it is an interviewer and an interviewee. You might need 2 cameras. You might need 3 cameras. One pointing at the interviewer, medium shot, another medium shot on the interviewee, and then you have another camera shooting the wide for both of them. So in that case, you might need 2 cameras. So with regards to how many cameras of each or how many gear of each do you need, it also goes with the project itself that you're going to be filming. When I film music videos, I just go with 1 camera, 1 tripod, few lights and stuff like that. So for lighting as well, it also goes with the kind of project that you are using. But for lighting, I would always really advise minimum of 2 lights. You can get away with 1 light. You can also find a way of using natural lighting combined with artificial lighting. All those stuff, I've explained them in my courses. So that one is something that is a bit with regards to how many microphones am I going to need, or with how many cameras am I going to need. You might actually really just need 1 camera. Depending on the genre of videography, you can always upgrade. So like I was saying, you also don't need to get all the cameras at once. So for example, when I started, I only had 1 camera, but there was a time when I was filming a wedding video and I just needed another camera for shooting the whole preaching, marriage blessing and stuff like that on the stand, whilst I go in the audience and pick up some shots for people who are attending that wedding. So I had to just borrow a camera. So it's not really necessary that you need to get everything. All right, so after getting some form of lighting, another tool that you're gonna need, of course, it is sound, right? So this is the microphone that I always use every time I'm coming live. But today, I'm using a very cheap microphone, very cheap. I got this lapel microphone for around $1,200. So the lapel microphone I'm using today, this is the one. I don't know, the lighting can't show properly, but this is the one, right? They come 3 of them, so I can have 2 people using the same microphones. What I've done is I've just really connected this because I don't like things that are seated on my shirt and stuff like that. That's why I always really prefer to either hang the camera, to hang the microphone because I don't really like things like a lapel microphone like this, so never. All right, so microphone. So which microphone you need, it will depend. So for people who are doing wedding videos, especially on the vows, you can use this microphone. This microphone is called what? Wireless microphone, dual transport, 2.5G. These are Chinese stuff. They don't even have names, but they work. You can hear my sound is great. All right. And then maybe if you're doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, you can look at more expensive shotgun microphone. I've been using this microphone even for movies. You know, this is a shotgun microphone. There's a pop filter here. Very awesome. There's a lot of different lapel microphones that you can get depending what suits your setup. All right, so microphone sound is also half of the battle. You know, mostly videographers actually focus so much on camera stuff and getting really this nice picture, but they don't really focus on getting good sound as well. Sound is half of the viewing experience, you know. So imagine now, if the sound was just really busy, these lights, I have a fan here because it's very hot. I have a fan that is blowing there. I have these lights also, they have got fans inside. Even my computer at the back there, it's making noise. So if I was just really live streaming this whole show using the microphone on the camera, you'll be hearing all those sounds. And the viewing experience wouldn't really be nice, right? So having a dedicated microphone, an external microphone, is always really crucial for your production. And then moving away from the microphone, another thing that you might need is a drone. So my all-time favorite drone is the Phantom 4 Pro. This drone is the best. But if you are starting out, and you know, drones, they have this, they don't really work much in production, but if you're going to be doing things like wedding videos, real estate videos, you might actually really need a drone. And if you tell a client today to say, no, I have everything, including a drone is there already, it also gives them this thing to say, oh, wow, we have hired the correct person. So with regards to which drone you should get, I have a Mavic Mini. In fact, my Mavic Mini, I gave it away to people who attended my workshop in Zambia because I was not using it. So you can start with the Mavic Mini. It has got a price range from second-hand. You can actually get one for 5,000 rands. You know, like you can get one for that money. Then if you have enough budget, the one that I would really recommend is the Mavic Pro Platinum. It's also cheaper. You can get one second-hand for around 12,000, and then you can have Mavic Air as well. You can get it in that same price range. They also shoot 4K videos, really nice. And then if you have money, you can go Inspire One second-hand. Nowadays, you can get them 15,000, really big. But the problem with the drones, you might need alliances in some areas, right? You might need alliances. Some other drones like the Mavic Mini SE, Mavic Mini version 2, they are so small. So in most cases, you might not even need alliances to fly them. But if you're going to fly a Phantom 4, you might need a license because it goes with how heavy your drone is. Your drone license goes with how heavy your drone is. All right, so you can look also at having a drone in your package, right? And then other things that you can add to your videos, to your it's ND filters. So when you are filming during the day, it's so hot and so bright. So you might need an ND filter. You might need an ND filter. So ND filters are like sunglasses for your camera. So this one is a variable ND filter. So you can make it darker, like so, or you can make it brighter, right? So you have a clear image. So when you are filming during the day, the sun is so hot, it forces you to either reduce, to crank your aperture so high, thereby losing depth in your videos, right? So if you want to maintain that shallow depth of field, you should shoot at low aperture, then add an ND filter to your lens. So these ND filters also, they are different in they are different in sizes, the diameters, according to the lenses that you attach to your camera. So the ones that I really, really prefer so much is variable ND filters because it is a filter, but you can also change the amount of how clean or how dark it becomes, how clear or how dark it becomes. So anytime I'm shooting during daylight, that's why most of my videos that I shoot during the day, people will be like, hey, this man is really a master at this art. How come he gets really these beautiful images even during the day? It is because I use ND filters mostly, and also just knowing how to work with natural lighting. All right, do we have any question? Join the Unify. Thank you so much. Any recommendation on cameras for live content recording and general camera position setup? Live concert. All right, so it depends exactly. Sometimes when I get hired for live concert events, right, they'll just tell me to say, we need highlights of the event. So in that case, I don't really go with any sort of camera because it's just really highlight. So I focus on getting really the best moments of the event. So I'm just always there on the lookout. But there are other times where I shoot like a live recording concept, like you are saying, like a live video, DVD recording. So in that case, you might actually really need like 4 cameras. So with regards to which cameras you should use, you know, those sort of events usually take a lot of time. So if you're going to go with the DSLR cameras, of course, just really look for DSLR cameras that have got longer battery life or that have got adapters to power them directly to power, to direct power. So the cameras that I would really recommend for most events is Sony cameras, so especially Sony a7 III. That is the camera that has saved most of my events that I've shot until I was really a pro at the Lumix GH5S, very good in low light, because mostly event also, they really need a camera that has got good low light performance. So in terms of position, if you are shooting a recording, it's require minimum 4 cameras. You can get by with 3, you can get by with 2, but the minimum cameras that I set up is 4. 1 for the main singer who is singing, 2 for the backing vocalists, 3 for the instrumentals, and 4 for the audience. So 2 will be on the stage there, shooting the backing vocalists and the people playing instrument, and then 1 main camera with a long lens, maybe 200 to maybe 70 to 200 or 200 to 400 lens, you know, the focal range. In the main, maybe in the audience somewhere or at the back there, which is focusing on the lead singer and stuff like that. So that is the general positioning when you are filming events that you want to take the whole event. All right, how can I get your course and how much? The courses, just go to, I think let me just put, oh, come on. All right, so if you want to enroll in any of my courses, just visit this link that I've put on the screen. So to enroll, visit ufc.unifyinventive.net. All the courses are there. All the prices are there. All the learning processes are all there. You know, so let me just show you a little bit. So when you click that link, it will take you to this page. So this video will explain everything that you're going to learn in this course. And then when you go down here, you'll find all the courses. So this one is just really like one course that I divided into 6 chapters. So the first chapter, DSLR cinematic filmmaking, is the one that teaches you how to shoot videos, lighting, and everything that has to do with shooting. Then we have the second course, which actually goes into editing with Adobe Premiere Pro. Like everything that has to do with editing is in this course. And then we have color grading. And then we have music videos and wedding videos. And then we have the business side of videography. This course is very important. If you are really starting out today, you should get this course first before you even start learning, because this course will open your mind in terms of what are the business opportunities as a videographer, how do I market myself, how do I get clients, how do I price my videos and stuff like that. So you already sort of like see beforehand what is expected. So you can enroll there. And then payment options, we've got many payment options. You can pay directly to the account, you can pay with PayPal, you can pay with Mukuru, Mama Money, Western Union, you can also pay even Airtel Money Zambia. So these are the payment options. These courses, it's not something that you should take for granted. It will change your filmmaking career so bad. All right. What other question? All right. So let's go ahead and finish our live stream. The other equipment that you're going to need for professional videography, of course, you're going to need a laptop. And this laptop, I'm giving it away, actually, one of my students. All right. So you need a laptop, and the computer specs of the laptop, if you've been following this channel, I'm sure you already know by now, because anytime I'm talking about editing, I'm also talking about the specs that you're going to need. But for those who are new, a laptop that you really need to edit 4K videos, at least get a laptop that has got i7 processor, at least 2.4 gigahertz of the processor itself, and it needs to have at least minimum of 4 cores or 4 processors inside. So you get a single core, you get a dual core, you get a octa core, you get 4 cores, you get 8 cores, you get 16 cores, 12 cores, you get 20 cores. My computer that I'm using for live streaming now and doing all this kind of stuff, it has got 20 cores, 5 gigahertz. So it's a little overkill, but when you are starting, at least get a computer that has got a processor i7, maybe 6th, 4th, starting from 4th, 6th, and 7th generation, you are safe as long as it has got 2.4 gigahertz of processing power. And also get a computer that has got a minimum RAM, 8 GB. But to play it safe, at least get a computer that has got memory of about 16 GB. Then you are safe. And then also it needs to have a graphics card of at least 2 GB. The one that I'm using myself is RTX 4060. It has got 8 GB RAM, 8 GB memory on it. So it's slightly overkill because I do also animations and stuff like that. But for computer that you're gonna just really use to cut your videos, edit them, and in 4K, at least those specs should work. All right. So that is all about the computer. And what else will you need? What else will you need? So in summary, you're gonna need a camera and a microphone. You're gonna need a lens. You're gonna need some ND filters, you're going to need a stabilization system, you're going to need microphones, of course, you're going to need a drone. So those are the stuff that you're going to need. So how much budget? If today I was to start with slightly good gear, how much budget can I get everything? You can get everything for around 30,000. A good start. 30,000 is safer. But if you are just really a beginner who, like, maybe I just want to start with my YouTube channel, you want to start with, you can actually really get a camera for 5,000, you get the lights for around 4,000, you get a microphone for around 2,000. So in 7,000, you have everything to start a YouTube channel, a professional YouTube channel, right? So depending on how many things you would need, and you start adding these things, because with a camera, the Lumix GH5 now second-hand will cost like around 20,000. If you get a good lens, maybe around 8,000. If you get good 2 lights, like the ones I'm using now, I got each light for 3,500, so that's 7. We are talking about 50,000 startup if you're gonna go with the Lumix GH5 and all the gear that I'm using now. All right? Whatever that you are seeing now, I'm live streaming on the GH5 with the lens, with that speed booster which is there. So we are looking at 50,000 for just this setup that you can see. All right. And then, so with regards to how much really budget I should do, I want to ask for some money. It also depends what you really want to do. If you want to really go into music videos, I wouldn't really want you to go so cheaper. You know, I would really want you to save some money. You know, when you are buying equipment for videography, don't start look at the price. Look at what you need in that gear. Let's say, for example, you want to buy a camera. Don't start looking at the camera at the perspective of how much it costs. Look at how much, look at the specs that you need. If you need a 4K camera that can shoot in 60 frames per second, that has got 10-bit, look at it in that way. So once you get all the specs that is needed, all the specs that you need, then find out how much it will cost. If possible, just really save until you get that money, or look for something that still has the same specs but cheaper. Don't start look at a camera from the perspective of how much it costs. Otherwise, you end up really buying a poor quality camera. So know your story, know what you want, know the camera settings, know everything, know what kind of videography you'll be doing and stuff like that before you actually really make a purchase. All right, guys, we are about to close. I can see Mom Poppy is watching. Thank you so much for joining. I can see Timothy, the way I really want PC. It's very easy. If you get my course, Videography Business, these things will be easier for you to get. Ritabile is saying, if I make direct deposit, what is the reference for you to recognize me? So before you make direct deposit, you have to text me first, and then I will instruct you from there, because you have to send your name, your surname, your email address, so that the moment you do the deposit, the money reflects, then I enroll you directly, myself personally. But if you have a PayPal account, you can do those things automatically, even when I'm sleeping. You just go there, click the course that you want, and then go to the payment gateway, just put in your PayPal, then it does directly. But if you're gonna do direct deposit, use Mokuru or use these other services like Cash Send, e-wallet and stuff like that, you have to text me first so that I can give you instructions with regards to what information you need to put. Watching from Zambia, this is so powerful, the way I crave for this. Thank you so much, Mr. Ronald. Thank you very much for people who were tuning in today. Tomorrow I'm going to be live again, so just let me know what topic you want me to touch. But before I go, I want to show you a video. Just recently I went for a vacation with my family. I just want to show you how cameras, I shot the whole vacation on my smartphone, so I just want to show you that footage. All right, so all that footage you just saw was shot on this smartphone. So if you know your story, in fact, if you want to start a channel, or whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it is a vlogging channel and stuff like that, you don't even really need to stress much about cameras. You can just really use your smartphone. What will just matter is your skills. Skills is very important. So I shot that whole video, the whole vacation video. I'm still editing it. I shot it with this small gimbal. This is the DJI phone stabilizer. So you can see, just having the right tool, you can actually really get good images out of your camera. So the best camera that you can start with, even my students, the one they ask me to say, hey, I can't learn videography because I don't have a camera. Learning videography, you don't even need a camera. Even now, there are a lot of colleges that offer videography. They don't even have a camera in that class. You know, they just learn things like that. So to learn videography, you don't need expensive gear. You just need your phone, because videography, the art of video making, is not necessarily, the camera comes at the end. There's so much stuff. You need to learn how to create good movements in your videos. And what do those movements mean in your videos? You need to learn how to create great compositions. You know, all those stuff, you can learn them on your smartphone, you know. And I don't know how I'm going to do a live where I edit, you can edit videos on your smartphone, because most of the time, I actually really edit with my smartphone. You really don't need a computer mostly if you just really into TikTok, Instagram and stuff. If you know your story, if you know how to work with lighting, if you know all this kind of stuff, you really create amazing professional videos with just your smartphone. So let me know what topic you want us to go through tomorrow. And yeah, I almost forgot about this. So hopefully by Saturday, we'll be launching another course, live streaming, where I teach live streaming from A to Z, how I managed to really set up live stream and look nice, how I live stream for many big organizations. So that course might launch this Saturday. And also next week, starting from Monday, we're going to be having our master classes where I used to teach people via Zoom. So mostly my students, they complained that I share a lot of information that themselves they bought, but I also come here on live and share. So they suggested that I should bring back the master classes where you just pay 250. Then if we are talking about color grading, I'll teach color grading on live Zoom where you are also asking questions and I'm explaining, and we're gonna do a lot of those kind of stuff. So on Monday, we're gonna start with color grading, how to color grade. It's only $250 to attend that live Zoom meeting. And then on Tuesday, we're not gonna do anything. And Wednesday, we're gonna look at something else. I think just like this page so that you see what we're gonna be doing next week. Like more information from beginning to the end, unlike these lives where I just share some tips here and there. All right. Thank you so much, sir. Have a blessed night. Thank you, Mr. Tepo. Thanks for the lesson. Now I know where to start and how I can manage. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad. Tulani says, cameras that can shoot in flat profile. It's easier. You can either get my course or just go on YouTube and just search for cameras that can shoot in flat profile. Thank you so much, Timothy. Wow, this is super amazing. Thank you. Mr. Elish Kayera says, wow, nice. All right, no questions. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who has joined. I'll see you again tomorrow in the next live video. For now, let me just leave you with that video again.